Hey Taurus, this is your November 2023 tarot reading. So it is the reading for the month, and this is for Taurus rising or sun signs. If this is your first time joining me, welcome. These are meant to go through the month and give us an idea of the beginning, middle, end of the month, any particular challenge that is of note, and also any kind of spiritual advice that we feel is that's coming through for you, right? These are collective readings. So, I like these cards for you, Taurus. These are collective readings. So just know that if it doesn't feel like it's resonating, then it just doesn't happen to be your message this particular time around, right? There's only so many people that we can hit with collective readings, obviously. So maybe check out your rising sign if this is your sun sign. And as always, if you want to get really specific, one-to-one readings are the best way for you to do that, whether that's with me or anyone else. So if you do that with me, the information is down below. So, all right, let's also pull any kind of challenges that are coming up for Taurus in November, and also spiritual advice. Okay, looking like we got some patience going on here. So, all right, Taurus. So how do we want to be able to focus this reading? What particular area of life is coming up that is of note, that is drawing your attention, and that this would be all connected to and related to? So I pulled these cards to help us direct the reading, since it is a collective reading. And so what we see showing up here is the 12th house. So with the 12th house, we're talking about those deep areas, your mental health, your emotional health, your things that are in the realms of the subconscious. We're also talking about deep sense of connectedness inside of spirituality, whether that's with nature or whatever it is for you. Also altered states of consciousness, anything that kind of melts us into the oneness, right? Like those types of things. And that altered states of consciousness, those could be like plant medicine to like meditation to whatever that is, right? So those are kind of some of the realms that fall under the 12th house, which I know can be a little bit of a broad topic, but tends to be like a lot more I would say internal. It can feel kind of like time alone. Also, it can be like isolation or your own private time. Your inner worlds, maybe more so is a better way to say that. So what do we have showing up for you for this month, beginning, middle, and end of the month? We have the Chariot, and we have Temperance and the Star. I'm really loving that for you. It's so great. Like such a nice lineup, such a contrast from the last reading that I was just doing. And then we have the 8 of Pentacles and the 7 of Pentacles. So, all right, let's dive into this. So we started with the Chariot, maybe perhaps like with this last eclipse that we had at the end of October, that was in Taurus, in tropical astrology. It was rounding out a story that's been maybe like 18 months or almost like 2 years possibly of something that's been going on in that particular area of your house, wherever Taurus is, right? But I would imagine that as a Taurus, you are somehow feeling more connected to this particular last eclipse, of course, depending on your chart, right? So anyway, back to this. So perhaps there was a completion, something that you were able to just close the loop around and start a new story. Perhaps you have a new perspective, new inspiration, a new direction, and things have become more clear. And sometimes that path becomes clear because we feel more complete in certain respects. And sometimes that happens because certain things are removed from our lives, and therefore we have more clarity about where we're going. Either way, this is forward movement. This is aligned forward movement in action. So the Chariot card, I really love the Chariot card because it speaks to being aligned with not just like what you think, what you say, and what you feel are all on point, right? But also like the way in which you're connected to whatever your sense of spirituality is, whatever that is, your higher self, whatever, having that come down into your consciousness, and like that also bringing itself down almost like through the chakra systems, like through your mind, through your consciousness, through what you speak out into the world, through your heart and what you feel, and then out into your will, right? Like moving down almost like through the chakra centers. And the will is actually what makes the Chariot move forward. It's like when you have really clear, connected, really aligned will, this is when we can really kind of almost leap, like hyper leap forward and go forward in a very clear and direct and more rapid way, right? Also very powerful. So really like the beginning of this month for you. In the middle of the month, we have the Temperance card. So I feel like there is this alchemizing of different elements in your life, bringing together into a certain sense of harmony and something that feels more authentically aligned for yourself, right? So we see that in the Temperance card, she's mixing the chalices, like one liquid to the next, right? And it almost reminds me of like in a blender when you have a high-speed blender and you put a bunch of different elements or ingredients into that, and you blend it for like on the highest setting for like 2 minutes. It becomes a new and different type of food than it was before, right? It's a new thing. And then very similarly, I hope that's a reference that people get. I'm just like someone who used to make a lot of elixirs. So anyway, so in a similar way, you may be combining different elements, different paths even in your life together in such a way where it's not one or the other, but you blend them together in a way that is harmonious for you and create your own third path that feels authentic and aligned for yourself in that way. And then we come into the last part of the month and we have the Star card. And so for those of you who are maybe in a situation where being seen and recognized, that could actually be something that's a part of this, but more so, this is really, I think, coming into this very clean energy, almost like a brand new start. And it can feel really healing. Really love that as being connected to the 12th house and what we were talking about with that. But there is this connection to like as above, so below. Again, another kind of card having to do with a different type of alignment, right? They all kind of speak to alignment in a different way. And so we have that showing up in this card. And I really love this for you because who doesn't want to feel like they're in the Star card? Just, it's so clean. It's so clear. And it's such a fresh start. You know, the Star card typically comes right after the Tower card in the major arcana. And so it's like after there is this decimation and this clearing of whatever that was there before, there's the opportunity to create something new. Everything is clean and clear and washed, almost like it's cleansed, right? In that way. The challenge that might be coming up for you is maybe needing to have a little bit more patience with how the path unfolds and needing to understand that there's still some personal work for you to do. Whether that is like studies that you're inside of, maybe perhaps you're someone who's connected to the studies that have to do with mental health and emotional health. Maybe you're a psychologist, I don't know. But even if it's not having to do with work in that way, it could be that you are studying, that you're an apprentice. It could also be just your internal personal work, the foundational pieces internally that you work with to create stability for yourself, and needing to have more time put into that, and maybe feeling challenged by how much time or making the time to do that, to set aside, or it feeling kind of like, I don't know, not necessarily like a chore, but it feels like a little hard to like do for some reason. So, but there needs to be more time spent with this, and that might feel a little bit challenging for you, either because of the pace of your life or because maybe there are other things that are drawing your attention that you're really wanting to go into. And so it feels almost like there's this tug of war type of energy with that. And the spiritual advice that's coming through is patience, which I'm not really surprised with that last card. But yeah, it's like there's more. It's again, it's a very similar message, but it's like there's more tending to the garden. Like you've been tending the soil, you've been putting in the work, you've been watering, you've been, you know, like weeding your garden, all of the things, and you're starting to kind of see the fruits of your labor, but it is going to take more time and patience, and there's more to put into this. So, you know, there is progress. Like clearly there's like alignment, a very clear message of alignment that's coming through here, which I really appreciate. These are all really great cards. And yeah, it might just take some more work than maybe what you wanted, or it feels frustrating in some way, or challenging in some way, and that there's just more patience, more time required. So it's just like, get okay with the fact that it's going to maybe take some more time. But I'm really loving these cards. I hope you can see how like very positive this is. So if this was insightful in any way, please give the video a like. It does help me as I am building this channel. If you haven't subscribed already, please do that as well. Why not hit the notification button so that you don't miss any of these videos on the horizon? I know that these are coming out a couple days into the month of November. I'm so sorry about that. The end of my eclipse season and the end of the month. Not to blame it on astrology, I don't do that, but it just was gnarly. And so I am just trying to catch up again. So anyhow, thank you for your time. Thanks for being here. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.